Hello, wrestling fans! Welcome to another edition of the TNA Review, brought to you by UnifiedWrestling.com and OneStudioWrestling.co.uk. As always, I'm your host, Caesar Scorpio, bringing to you the Impact Wrestling Review. Now, this is following the great pay-per-view, which was Slammiversery 10. Following a great pay-per-view, we need a great show, which is what we got here on Impact Wrestling this past Thursday. How did it start here? The pay-per-view started with X Division. The show doesn't disappoint either. X Division action to begin it. Not only any X Division, it's actually Ultimate X match that we have scheduled. First actual match of the actual show. On paper, it's legit, but in reality, some actual issues and some actual problems that happened with this match. Now, let me get started here with who actually showed up. We had Chris Sabin, we had Aries, and we had Zema Ion, three of the best X Division superstars, not only right now, but of all time. These guys are in this match, and right off the bat, it appears it's going to be sick. One of the best matches here of the season. But soon after the match begins, Chris Sabin injures his left knee. Now, that's unfortunate because it takes a lot away from the match. Chris Sabin and Zema Ion, as well as Aries, were going to play a big factor in this match. Specifically, Aries and Chris Sabin. Fortunately, the guy got hurt, and he was not able to continue for the rest of the match, which was a lot of time. So this was cut short. Of course, Aries ends up winning this match by pulling the belt off of the top belt that they had hanging off the top. But the big story in this is going to be Chris Sabin's health. Now, right now, there is no information, and UnifiedWrestling.com, as soon as it becomes available, should have some information as soon as Friday morning. So hopefully it's not as bad as it looked, but it looked pretty bad. Now, after this match, after Aries wins this match, we have him taking the mic and stating how he wants to be the main event. He feels that no matter if he's the first, third, fourth, fifth match of the card, he feels he's always the main event. He brings it to every day, day in and day out, which I don't disagree with. This guy is, if not he is the greatest thing that TNA has right now. That being said, he states he's tired of waiting for this to develop in a snail's pace, and he deserves better. Enter Hulk Hogan. Hollywood Hogan comes out and says, you know what, I see what you're stating, and let's do something about it. I agree with you. You are the best wrestler I've ever seen in a ring in my life. Big words coming from Hulk Hogan, right? But anyway, he says, I'll make you a deal. You vacate the X Division Championship, and I'll give you a title shot at the pay-per-view. Really. So, he's got a week to think about it. I don't expect Aries to turn this offer down. I expect him to, again, step up to what he's been claiming all along. He is the best wrestler in wrestling, and the only way to prove that is to become the heavyweight champion. Let's see if he can do that. You expect him to take that offer next week on Impact, but again, we'll have the live coverage on UnifiedWrestling.com. After that, we had the little segment here with Bully Ray and Joseph Park. Of course, Bully Ray is still looking for Abyss, the guy who put him through a table at the pay-per-view Slammiversary, and Joseph Park is the easiest victim. Here he's sitting at a table with some friends, and where's your brother Abyss? I'll never stop until I, hook up with your brother Abyss. Well, I don't know where he's at. And so the story continues. Expect more of this next week. There was a little bit of a sample of that here on this Impact, which we'll touch base on a little bit later. After that little segment, we had the television title on the line. Devon versus the new and improved face-turned Hernandez. If you haven't noticed, little tiny tidbits here. He's not wearing the Mexican flag on his shorts anymore. He's not coming out to, his stand up. It's not coming out to any big Mexican flag dropping down. In contrary, he actually has a small little Mexican logo with a huge American flag on the Jumbotron when he comes out. Face turn, if you ask me. But this match ends up popping right away. Hernandez comes out with a flying headbutt from the top rope as Devon is coming to the ring. This match goes back and forth with these guys showing displays of power throughout the match. This finally ends when Devon ends up slamming him and rolling him up and getting the W. So, again, still television champion Devon, but the bigger story here is Hernandez with that face turn. Good guy now. Hey, who knew? All right, after that we had a little segment here where it shows AJ Styles, possibly here gauntlet match set up for a Bound for Glory 20-point match. Now, this match is going to be worth 20 points for the Bound for Glory series. If you're not familiar with Bound for Glory series, this is actually a point system that at the end advises who's going to be the #1 contender. It's a long way to get to one fact as to who's going to be the #1 contender for the heavyweight championship. So this is something that they begin. Bound for Glory first match is going to be this gauntlet match, and this is a match that consists of all of the contenders for the actual Bound for Glory championship. So we have AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Rob Van Dam, Bully Ray, Magnus, Kurt Angle, The Pope, Robbie E., Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, and James Storm. That's right, James Storm is back and in the Bound for Glory series. Needless to say, he ends up winning this gauntlet match and collects the 20 points. He then takes the mic and says he's been gone for 2 months with the family, and now he knows where his responsibilities lie, let's say. His daughter bringing up, "Daddy, when are you going to wrestle again?" He states, "That's when I realized my family knows that I am a wrestler through and through, and I belong here in Impact Wrestling." So he's back. He is now the leader on the BFG series with 20 points after winning this gauntlet match. And again, more to this to come. Bound for Glory is still a ways away, but the challenges here, the series continues. And again, we'll continue here next week as well. After that, we had a break there in the action, and then we had TNA Knockout action. Now, this was not for the Knockout Championship. It was Miss Tessmacher versus Madison Rayne, but it was not for the championship. Needless to say, Miss Tessmacher ends up winning it with a devastating clothesline, rolling up Madison Rayne and getting the W. So this is something that's going to set up a Knockout Championship match next week. They touched base on this when Brooke Hogan approached Gail Kim about this concept of having a knockouts version of a fatal 4-way type of match, and Gail Kim wanted no part of it. She stated that in her contract she had a clause where she gets a rematch, and she doesn't need to compete with 4 other women. She deserves the rematch. Brooke Hogan says, "Well, yeah, it does say that you deserve a rematch, but it doesn't state as to when. So you'll get the rematch when I say you will. And since you're not going to participate in this knockouts match, then who knows when you're going to get your actual title shot." So, rough to beat Gail Kim at this point. But then she was holding that belt for quite some time. So maybe she's got a little bit of time coming here for these other knockouts to get some action going. All right. After that, we had the heavyweight championship on the line between Mr. Anderson and Bobby Roode. Winner on this match is Bobby Roode after he hits the STF and gets Mr. Anderson to tap out. Mr. Anderson, what gives, man? Thought you were made of sterner stuff. To take a page out of Transformers the movie. But again, this guy did not do what we expected him to do. Probably get a little bit further here on this match. But he ends up tapping out to the STF. Many other people have done it. Not going to take anything out of you, Mr. Anderson. You tried, you failed, and we move on. All right, after that, we have a little segment here where they want to go ahead and honor the Slammiversery Hall of Famer, Sting. Expect him to come out and want to go ahead and acknowledge the fact that he is a Hall of Famer. He comes out dressed in, of course, all Sting attire with the face, war paint and all, and comes out with the microphone, wants to thank the fans, think there's other wrestlers that deserve this honor, that he is humbled by becoming the first TNA Hall of Famer, and that's when basically all hell breaks loose. He wants to thank Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett because they are the founders, and then he starts wanting to thank Dixie Carter when he's attacked by 4 goons in masks, dressed in street gear. Nobody really knows who these guys are. These assailants attack Sting, and then when the show goes off the air, they're still attacking the guy. Nobody comes and helps Sting here from the back. Nobody from the stands. None of that. So the Hall of Famer has no friends, apparently. These 4 guys attack and continue to attack 3 assailants when it goes into commercial, or excuse me, when the show goes off the air. So we'll expect more of this here next week. See some explanation as to what's going on with this, and hopefully some more information as to what the situation is on Chris Sabin's knee. So that's all the information we have here on this edition of the TNA Review. Live edition for Thursdays. Love it. Love the fact that TNA is doing this live. Thursday. Again, live coverage on UnifiedWrestling.com, and expect to see these shows on a weekly basis Thursday following Impact Wrestling. For myself, Caesar Scorpio, thank you very much for watching. See you guys next week.